What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy, CamATL, and welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys know, in the beginning of the video, in the beginning of the week, we do a first look lineup where we kind of just talk about the guys that we're putting into the first look lineup, and we don't really branch out of that. We pretty much stick to those guys and focus on those guys and get you guys started with a little first look lineup. Now, in this video, after the Thursday night showdown, which we took down on FanDuel, literally got first place on FanDuel, got the takedown in the showdown last night. It was beautiful. DraftKings also smashed. It wasn't takedown, but almost. But it was a great night on both sides last night, man. Huge win. I love those huge like first place takedown wins, man. Who doesn't? Anyways, but on Fridays, I always come in and then we go position by position and talk everybody we're interested in, kind of break down their matchups and see what we're looking like position by position and go in a more broad breakdown of the slate. Do your boy a favor, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you haven't subscribed to the channel by now, like, come on, dude. Like, I mean, what else do I have to do? You know what I mean? Like, do I have to like go live and dance for you or something? Like, come on. Also, if you haven't seen my box break videos, just to put in perspective for you guys, because a lot of DFS people aren't sure what that is, and I understand. Listen, I'm a sports lover in general. Most of us are, right? One thing that is huge in sports and is growing back up to being huge again is card collecting, card selling, all types of stuff. The cards are a great investment right now. People are getting into sports cards, and I have gotten huge back into it as well. I used to be big into it, but lately I've been getting big into it too because the products are just sick lately. Like the way these cards look are super cool, really awesome. And so if you haven't checked it out yet, check out my videos on that. Hit up gldbreaks.com if you want to get into any of the breaks. They're pretty cool. It pretty much just gives you potential to get like cards worth hundreds of dollars for a fraction of the price without having to buy the entire box, which are expensive and very hard to find anyways. All right? Anyway, so I just wanted to explain that to you because a lot of people are like, what is this, Cam, when I'm live breaking a box at nighttime or something? That's literally what it is. People buy in a spot and they get these cards for a fraction of the cost of getting the box. Plus, I have a hookup where I'm able to get these boxes for a cheap price, right? So I'm a sports fan in general. So anything I can do in the sports realm, I'm gonna do it. I'm in there. But anyways, let's get straight into this, man. We got a long video to go. Greenlightdfs.com to join the squad. By the way, tonight I will be doing college football. I do have a box break as well, gldbreaks.com. We got a basketball prism box with LaMelo Ball cards and all those type of things. But before that, I'm going to be posting college football. I will be doing the Friday 4-game slate for college football. So all NFL members get that added on. So check the NFL access page before that. All right, let's start off at quarterback. Let's get it straight into it now. First thing is first. All right. Starting off at quarterback, there's a guy I didn't talk about a ton in the first look lineup that I'm definitely interested in, and I want to make sure I touch on here. Justin Herbert. Now, Justin Herbert has been having a fantastic season. All right. The dude has been incredibly consistent. He hasn't gotten under 20 DraftKings points but one time against Carolina week 3, which is weird because Carolina's defense sucks. But either way, this matchup against the Jets is a prime one. Patrick Mahomes almost dropped 40 against them. Cam Newton, who can barely really throw the ball anymore, almost got 25. Kyler Murray got over 30. Justin Herbert's in a good spot. I'm predicting 25 or more DraftKings points out of Justin Herbert here at 6'8". I think he's a solid option. You can definitely do worse than Justin Herbert. At home in Los Angeles, Herbert's a great option. And then pairing him up with Keenan Allen, you can do worse than that pairing. All right. Next up at quarterback, another guy I want to talk about that I didn't talk much about in the first look lineup, but has been balling is Ben Roethlisberger. This dude has been balling this season, especially the last few games, 28 and 32 the last few games. Now he gets the privilege of going against a Jacksonville squad that is bottom in the league secondary-wise. They're ranked 30th in the league, allowing over 290 passing yards per game. Okay? They are bad. They're allowing over 2 passing touchdowns on average per game. Their secondary is bad. Okay, A.J. Bouye is not there anymore. Jalen Ramsey is not there anymore. This is not that Jacksonville defense that we remember from a time ago. All right, Ben Roethlisberger is a solid option as well at 6'7". Both of these guys, there's a lot of good 6K range quarterbacks that are in play this week. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go. I mean, there's no set in stone like you must do this in cash. or you must do this, like, or this is a great, you know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of options here that you could go with. Herbert could have a big game. Roethlisberger a big game. You've got Lamar Jackson going against Tennessee in a game that should be a really good game in Baltimore. Cam Newton against Houston. Like, so many solid matchups this week that are going to be good ones, okay? Speaking of which, let's talk Jameis Winston. Now, a lot of people have hit me up after the first look lineup and was like, man, I don't know about Jameis Winston. Look, I completely understand. And right now, they're in a battle to see who's going to start between him and Taysom Hill. No matter what, I would expect, if I had to predict it right now, and as of right now, I don't have definitive news about it, right? But I would expect that it'll be Jameis Winston starting, and we're going to see a lot of Taysom Hill as well, okay? Taysom Hill, by the way, is a tight end eligible on FanDuel, which is fantastic. I think he's probably a must-play over there most likely. But outside of that, Taysom Hill is going to be a solid option because of what he could do on his feet, and we obviously are going to expect him to do more throwing than we're used to seeing him doing too, right? But majority of the game, we're most likely going to see Jameis Winston. Now, at 5'9", you don't need a ton to get value out of him here. If he can get you 15, that'll be fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised to see Jameis Winston get 2-3 touchdowns in this game. I understand Jameis Winston is a guy that turned the ball over more than he damn scored touchdowns last season, right? I understand that, but this is still a Jameis Winston also that had games of upside of 40 like he did week 14 last year against the Colts. Week 15 against Detroit, he got 36. This is a guy who has crazy upside when he has a solid matchup, and now he is in a dome against a bad Atlanta secondary. Yes, we're going to be seeing some Taysom Hill, okay? And I'm fine with Taysom Hill, except if they come out and say Taysom Hill is the starter, then yes, I will be off of Jameis Winston. I don't want any part of him, right? But if they come out and say Jameis Winston is the starter and Taysom Hill will be sprinkled in, I'm still fine with Winston, because I don't see the Saints being comfortable with having Taysom Hill drop back 30 times and throwing the ball. Okay, I think they're going to do the same type of thing as they did with Breeze and Taysom. They're going to have Winston be the main quarterback, and whenever they want to get that few yards for sure out of Taysom Hill, they'll throw Taysom in there. I do not expect Taysom to be throwing the ball a ton. All right. With that being said, yes, I mean, dude, you'd be smoking crack if you think Jameis Winston is totally a guy that you shouldn't even look at this week. Okay, I've had too many people hit me up in my comment section like, oh, fuck Jameis Winston. I hate Jameis Winston. Horrible play. Oh, you suck thinking Jameis Winston's good. You are on crack to think Jameis Winston is not playable, especially if they come out and say he is the main guy here. Yeah, we're going to see Taysom Hill, but dude, he's the main guy, has good weapons around him, in a dome at home against a bad secondary. Like, come on, dude. And at the same time of me saying this, yeah, Atlanta's an okay defense too. Defense punt too, if you want to punt them. If you punt their defense, yeah, go ahead and don't do. I don't see a reason why you would need to save and go Jameis if you're going to punt Atlanta defense. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. Lamar Jackson at home in Baltimore going against Tennessee. Now, the issue with Lamar this year has been he's not using his feet as much as we would like. He's really struggling to get a good amount of passing yards too. So not only is he not, he's got a decent floor because he's going to get you 50-plus rushing yards, right? And he has the potential to get you that rushing touchdown as well. But he just has not been throwing the ball great. I don't believe he's gotten over he has one game all year where he threw for over 250 yards against Cleveland week 1, 275 yards. Outside of that, 204 yards, 97 yards, 193 yards, 180 yards. The problem is if we're going to have Lamar Jackson hit value here at 7-3, we need him to open up. We need him to rush for over 70 yards if we can for a touchdown. We need him to throw the ball and have, success. He's going against a Tennessee squad that hasn't given up under 15 fantasy points the last 5 weeks. Okay? So Lamar's going to get you over 15. Question is, will he get you that upside like Deshaun Watson showed week 6 against this Tennessee squad and get you 35-plus? That is the question. Lamar Jackson at home, I do believe this will be a good game, so that's a decent option. With the options we have on the slate, I don't think it is something you have to force, but in GPP, if you want to take the shot at Lamar, possibly getting a 100-yard rushing bonus maybe, and, just having a huge game that we know he's capable of, then sure, Lamar Jackson. All right, next up, Cam Newton. Let's talk some Cam Newton against Houston. Now, Houston has been dreadful defensively against the run, against the pass, everything. They just are not good defensively. They did a solid job against Baker Mayfield last week, but that's Baker Mayfield. This is a team that gave up over 25 to Luton on his first NFL start. All right, Cam Newton's a guy that he, just like Lamar Jackson pretty much, like he has few games where he passes for a ton of yards, but week 2 against Seattle, he showed he could still sling it. Almost got 400 yards against Seattle, but that is Seattle. I could go out there. My grandma could go out there and throw for 400 yards against Seattle. Okay? Seattle's defense, by the way, I don't know why I'm talking shit. They looked solid last night against Kyler Murray. Not going to lie. Anyway, Cam Newton against Houston, solid matchup here. At only 6'2", this is another guy in that 6K range that is 100% playable. Not going to fault you at all for playing it. I think in GPPs, it's interesting to go like Cam Newton paired with Jacoby Myers or something cool like that, because I think this game should stay close. And it's definitely an interesting game here for me. I love the matchup for Cam. I think he's going to have a bounce-back game here. He's not a guy that is going to bust most of the time. He's going to get you a decent floor with just most of the time he's going to get you a rushing touchdown. You know, they're going to get in the red zone. He's going to do it with his feet, even if he doesn't do it through the air. So, but this is a game like Seattle that I could see him throwing for over 300 yards, passing for 2-3 touchdowns, and rushing for 1. You know, I would not be surprised to see Cam Newton end up being the highest scoring quarterback on the slate. So I just wanted to make sure I touched on him. I think I would reserve him for GPPs, but yeah, Cam Newton is a solid GPP option this week. Now let's talk Alex Smith, who, man, I love to see him come back after what he went through and have such a good game last game, man. At 5'3", it was great to see, man. Dude threw for almost 400 yards against Detroit. He came in, threw for over 300 yards against the Giants. Then threw for almost 400 against Detroit. The dude is slinging it. He threw 55 times against Detroit last week. Now he gets to go against Cincinnati, who has been giving up 30s left and right. Gave up over a 30 to Baker Mayfield, over 30 to Roethlisberger, almost 30 to Rivers. Like, Alex Smith is in a solid spot here at 5'3". You can do worse than a punt of Alex Smith. All right? Who else do I want to talk about? Let's see. Who else do I want to talk about? Let's talk about Andy Dalton, because he's back. All right? And we know that Dallas has the weapons to succeed. He has not succeeded yet. But Dallas has Zeke, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. Like, they have got some weapons in the pass game, and offensively, they've got some guys. So Andy Dalton should have no problem with having potential to be able to put up points. Let's not forget. All right, last season, Andy Dalton put up a 37 against Miami week 16. Okay? The dude threw for almost 400 yards. Andy Dalton has it in him. It's just hidden really deeply inside of him. Very, very, very deeply. Okay? In GPP, I'm kind of low-key. You know me, I don't play a ton of lineups. But for my people watching me right now that play a bunch of lineups, you got to have against Minnesota's horrible secondary, you got to have an Andy Dalton paired up with like Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb and just go and predict that Dallas gets, has some on. It's a solid option at 5'3". Good matchup against a bad secondary. He's been bad, so he's going to have no ownership. So that's interesting to me. All right, let's move on to running backs, because we've been on quarterback for a decade. All right? Now, at running back, let's talk about it. Christian McCaffrey is going to be missing again. What does that mean? That means I don't give a shit if he busted last week. Mike Davis is in play once again. This dude has shown multiple times that he's a beast if McCaffrey misses. I get it. He got banged up for a little bit last game, and it was a tough matchup against Tampa Bay. I get it, okay? But when Christian McCaffrey is out, this dude is utilized so heavily in this offense. This is a matchup against the Detroit squad that gives it up, too. They gave up almost 23 to Antonio Gibson, and McKissick smashed him last week, too. Dalvin Cook got over 42. All right, so Mike Davis is in a beautiful situation here at home in Carolina. This is a game where I'm expecting a ton of points because both defenses suck. Mike Davis in a bounce-back spot. Love him for GPP. I think he's decent for cash games. Well, not decent. I think he's solid for cash games as well. I think Mike Davis is going to be a very solid play this week. All right? Now, my favorite running back on the board is going to be Dalvin Cook because, when it comes to cash games, this is the safest you can possibly get. This dude's an absolute monster. This is a Dallas defense that gave up over 30 to Kenyon Drake, okay? I don't need to say anything else. Did you hear what I just said? They gave up over 30 to Kenyon Drake. I said that. Okay? Yes, that's true. Okay? Now, Kenyon Drake, we know Kenyon Drake has those moments where he goes crazy, but this is still Kenyon Drake, and this is Dalvin Cook we're talking about. Dalvin could absolutely destroy Dallas here, dude. At home in Minnesota, I love Dalvin Cook. I mean, the only possible way I don't go Dalvin Cook is if I happen to just get some ridiculous value pop up for me. All right. Speaking of value, let's talk about. I was interested in DeAndre Swift, but now he's entered concussion protocol, and if DeAndre Swift misses, it's going to be Adrian Peterson weekend at bare min 4K for Detroit. Adrian Peterson is going to see 20 plus carries. I'm hoping. Okay? If Swift is out, Adrian Peterson is going to see a solid amount of offense here, and I am excited for it. At 4K and a plus matchup against Carolina, they haven't been able to stop the run in like 25 years. Okay? So Adrian Peterson, especially if Swift misses, and the fact he just entered concussion protocol recently would tell me he's probably going to miss. Which in turn, with Golladay also out, or expected out, or whatever he's got going on, these other guys in this offense are going to be great options. So Adrian Peterson, I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a solid option this week. Let's talk about Damien Harris, because this is a dude I've really become a fan on. All right, this is a dude, he's been logging limited practices, but I'm sure he'll play. I'm pretty sure he's going to play. Keep an eye on it. But going against Houston, Houston's secondary is bad, but their run defense is even worse. They're allowing over a rushing touchdown per game. They're allowing over 154 rushing yards per game. That is horrible. And Damien Harris is a dude who's going to get you 15 to 20 carries, but every single time he touches the ball, you know he's going to run hard as shit. This dude is a hard-ass runner. He goes straight ahead and he just does his thing, and he's a solid running back, plain and simple. At 5'7" against a matchup like Houston in a game where I'm expecting to be fireworks, I like this game a lot. Any type of exposure to this game I can get, I'll be happy with, because I'm excited for it, especially the New England side against Houston, honestly. But yeah, Damien Harris, great option. If you play Cam Newton, don't go Damien Harris, but if you don't have Cam Newton at your quarterback spot, Damien Harris is a solid option here. All right. Who else? Alvin Kamara. Let's talk Kamara because he hasn't been practicing, and we're going to have to see how he does on Friday. Right now I'm recording this before practice time, so we'll have to see. But if he misses, Michael Thomas is locked. I think Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas are both fantastic plays this week. I don't know if you're going to be able to go Dalvin Cook and Kamara. You're going to have to make a choice. That is going to be a tough choice because DK, it is point PPR, so you would expect Alvin Kamara to get a ton of little short passes, a lot of stuff like that. People made the comment, oh, if Jameis Winston is quarterback, he doesn't do much checking down. Look at the fucking options he had to check down to in Tampa Bay. No wonder he didn't check down. Who did he have? Okay? He had nobody to check down to. This is Alvin Kamara. This dude is pretty much a receiving back. He's a wide back, dude. Okay? So Alvin Kamara is definitely going to get a ton of targets here. Him and Michael Thomas are great plays. If Alvin misses, Michael Thomas is locked. You guys know the drill by now. Let's talk about Ahmed. Put him in the first look lineup. I love this kid. Plain and simple, I love this kid. Good matchup against Denver, who just gave up over 30 to Josh Jacobs. Denver rushes bottom is ranked bottom in the league, 25th in the league, giving up over 103 rushing yards per game. Yeah, they're just not great. And Ahmed looked solid, man. If they're going to give him 20-plus carries per game, which it's seeming like with Tua, they're really trying to limit the amount of that they're having him doing right now, trying to kind of slowly enter him into the NFL. So they're rushing the ball a lot. So expect that to continue. Ahmed should see 20-plus carries. Solid matchup against Denver. So yeah, I like Ahmed. He's only 4'8" too, so he just opens up the possibilities, man. So yeah, I love him. J.D. McKissic and Antonio Gibson, both in play once again. I'll go ahead and go to Gibson, but I'm also loving J.D. McKissic. Both of these guys are solid options against Cincinnati, man. Cincinnati's run D, once again, is not very good. They're bottom in the league, allowing over 116 rushing yards per game. Antonio Gibson is a guy who's going to get you 15 carries. He has a nose for the end zone. The dude finds the end zone. So Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissic has been one of Alex Smith's favorite targets. So this is a situation where if you save and go Alex Smith in this matchup, which is a good one, by the way, Pairing him with J.D. McKissic is perfectly fine, okay? Don't look at McKissic like a normal running back, how you normally won't want to pair your running back with the quarterback. That's not the way this is. This is a dude who's gotten 14 targets, 15 targets the last 2 games. Like, absolutely ridiculous in targets. Like, come on, dude. He is the highest targeted player in the damn NFL the last few weeks. J.D. McKissic is great at 5'2". I don't see that stopping. I think Alex Smith is really relying on that, and they're running a ton of routes for him. So I love J.D. McKissic, one of my favorite wide backs of the weekend. Anyways, next up, who else do we want to talk about? I've pretty much talked about everybody that I have a lot of interest in. I could see a reason in Rex Burkhead. I could see it. At 4'6", he's cheap. And the matchup here, man, like I said, I want exposure to this game. Rex Burkhead, we know, is going to get passing targets. He's gotten 3 touchdowns the last 2 games, so obviously they're getting him involved in the pass game. At 4'6", Rex Burkhead, I could see him getting in the end zone and having a solid outing here. Now, let's talk about Ezekiel Elliott, man. What the hell is happening here? Like, what is happening here? He's still getting almost 20 carries a game. 19 carries, 18 carries the last 2 games. He's just not doing anything with them, okay? He's just not doing anything with them. I just got a notification as I'm recording this that it looks like Taysom Hill is getting starter reps. Like I said when we were talking quarterback, if Taysom Hill is going to be the starter, then yes, he's the guy and you need to drop Winston from your thoughts, okay? But if Winston's the starter and Taysom Hill is going to be coming in, then Winston's in play, all right? So pretty much go off of that. On FanDuel, Taysom Hill can be played at tight end, so yeah, easy. Ezekiel Elliott. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Zeke has not done much. He's not getting a ton of targets in the pass game either. But expect Andy Dalton to rely. I would expect Andy Dalton to rely on him. Okay, heavily for those little dump offs. I would. If I'm coming in to be quarterback after Dak breaks his ankle, I'm coming in and I'm relying on my main guys. I'm relying on Zeke to get open. I'm relying on Amari. I'm relying on CD, and I'm just throwing it up. You know what I mean? And that's really that simple. Going against Minnesota, they've been okay versus the run. They haven't been too bad. They haven't been allowing many rushing touchdowns. But damn, you got to expect Zeke to get involved eventually. And this might be it right here. All right? Let's go to wide receivers. All right, I've been recording for a long-ass time. Let's go through this fairly quickly. At wide receiver, at the top, if you go Alex Smith, I want to talk about Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is one of the top receivers in the league this season. Super consistent. He's had 1 game under 10 DraftKings points against the Rams week 5. Outside of that, he's had 4 games over 20 DraftKings points, 4 games over 10 DraftKings points, 1 over 15. He's just been solid. Now he's going against a Cincinnati squad that gave up over 22 to Juju Smith-Schuster. They are bottom in the league, allowing over a reception touchdown per game. They're allowing over 180 receiving yards per game. Plain and simple, I'm loving the situation here for Terry McLaurin. If you go Alex Smith especially, you got to go Terry McLaurin paired with him, okay? Next up, I talked about loving Herbert. You got to love Keenan Allen in that case because Keenan's one of the highest targeted players in the NFL. Okay, he's going to get you 10-plus targets here against the Jets, and the matchup is great. Brian Poole cannot stay with Keenan Allen. There's no way. So Keenan Allen is a very solid option. Let's go. Let's keep moving. Deontay Johnson. If you go, we talked about Roethlisberger. So we got to talk about Deontay Johnson. This is another guy who gets solid targets, okay? Out of the last 4 games, he's had 3 games over 10 targets, one of them being 15 targets. The only one where he didn't, he got hurt against Baltimore, got 3 targets, right? He did get hurt against Baltimore, right? I believe. Not sure. He's been in and out so much. But the only issue with Deontay Johnson that you run the risk of is injury because it seems like he's been getting injured pretty often. But on the bright side, if he does play, then it looks like he's going to be a solid option. He's going to get those targets if he is in the game. So I like him. We've talked about Cam Newton a bunch and loving this game. I mentioned Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is a guy who has been heavily targeted by Cam. He has been heavily targeted. And once again, I'm expecting close to 10 targets for Jacoby Myers here. Jacoby Myers used to be a quarterback. So the best part about Jacoby Myers is that I've noticed is that he knows pretty much what he needs to do for the quarterback, right? So he'll run a route and then he'll just alternate the route. It might be supposed to be going one way. He'll notice that the defense is guarding over there, so he'll go to the open spot. He knows where the open spots of the defense is going to be. It's pretty cool to watch, but he seems to just get open every single time, so Cam Newton relies on him. Going against Houston, it's a solid matchup here, man. The secondary is bad. They're bottom in the league, allowing a ton of reception touchdowns to receivers. Solid spot here. I'm expecting Jakobi Meyers to drop you 15 or more in this game. I'm expecting 15 or more, and you have the potential of a 30-plus like against the Jets Week 9. So Jakobi Meyers is a great option. What else? There's a lot of talk about the New Orleans side with what's going on over there. Let's talk about my boy Hooley. All right, Hooley is going against Marshawn Lattimore. Not a great matchup, but Lattimore's been taken advantage of a few times, giving up over 20 to Allen Robinson, over 25 to DJ Moore. This isn't the same Lattimore where you have to avoid it. Most likely, we will see shadow coverage here out of Lattimore, I would expect, on Julio, which could open up other things for other guys in this Atlanta offense. But Julio Jones is Julio Jones, and he is an unstoppable force. Okay, so he's solid for GPPs. Don't love the price at 7.5 being shadowed by Lattimore, but he's a solid option in GPPs for sure. On the other side of Houston, you can play Brandon Cooks, Will Fuller. Both of those guys are in play for sure. I love that game in general, so I want to mention that. Let's talk about another option for Roethlisberger. I'm not hating you. If you go Ben Roethlisberger, if for GPPs, it's definitely interesting to go Ben paired with Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool and get all of the passing touchdowns here in this one because that Jacksonville secondary is so bad. Okay? So I'm not going to hate you if you want to go Deontay Johnson and Claypool paired with Roethlisberger and GPP. That's an interesting way to go. Remember I said that because that's going to be solid. What else? Justin Jefferson. This dude is becoming a shining star. Absolutely beautiful. Justin Jefferson has been solid. He gets decent targets. The problem is it has been up and down. He got 4 targets in 2 straight games against Green Bay and Detroit. Then he popped up, got 10 targets against Chicago, 11 targets against Atlanta. Now he gets to go against Dallas, which the matchup couldn't be any better. Okay, the matchup for Justin Jefferson could not be any better. And I have to expect Andy Dalton and Dallas' offense is going to eventually be able to put some points up. Eventually. So Justin Jefferson, I love here in this matchup. Devontae Adams is a guy who is always a guy you need to talk about. He is a guy that he did not participate in Thursday's practice, so you need to pay attention to it. If he ends up missing, then Valdez-Scantling, the best receiver in the land, is going to be a great play here. But pay attention to it. Aaron Jones is going to be an even better play. But the thing is Colts defense is solid, though. But yeah, Scantling and those guys, they're going to be solid plays if Devontae misses because there's so many targets there. And it is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to find guys regardless of what defense he's playing against. All right, so yeah, that's a solid option for Devontae Adams. He is going to be followed with by Xavier Rhodes. He is going to be shadowed by Xavier Rhodes, which is tough because Xavier has done a great job shadowing guys this year. So even if Adams plays, he's not a guy I'm trying to spend up on this week. If Adams misses, I do have interest in the other guys, though, because we got a cheap price. How much is Scantling? Valdez-Scantling's 4.8, so yeah, I'll definitely have some interest in that if he misses. And even though the Colts defense is solid, I'll have some interest in Aaron Jones as well if he misses because Aaron Jones is going to see a lot more in the pass game as well if Devontae Adams misses the game. All right, let's go to tight end because we've been going for almost 30 minutes. Tight end. I'm still on Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas, especially if you're going Alex Smith. Logan Thomas is just a cheap tight end. Most of the time when it comes to tight ends, we don't have any huge guys on this slate. A lot of guys are on their bye weeks. We don't have a ton of must-play guys. Pretty much just pair your tight end with the quarterback you choose. If you go Justin Herbert, pair him with Hunter Henry. That's the way I like to play. If you go Alex Smith, go Logan Thomas. If you go Lamar Jackson, go Mark Andrews. If you go Stafford, go Hawkinson. Play it that way. Why not? Pair them up together, especially if they're a pairing that likes to connect on multiple occasions, all right? One thing you got to keep an eye on is Irv Smith Jr. He's been getting his practice reps have been capped a bit, so pay attention if he plays or not. If Irv Smith misses, Kyle Rudolph at 3-2 against Dallas is going to be a solid option. So I like that as well. Let's talk defenses. There's a lot of different options that we could go here on defense. A lot of people have talked about straight up punting Falcons, and I understand it. If you want to straight up punt the Falcons, I get it, okay? The thing here is that New Orleans' offense is so good. Now, if New Orleans is missing Alvin Kamara, I will definitely highly consider this. But if they have Alvin Kamara in, Michael Thomas in, Jared Cook is fine, obviously. Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill, both these guys can move the ball just fine. I don't know exactly. Like, this could end up getting you 2 points. You know what I mean? That might be all you need, though, at 2-3. So if you just want to completely punt and hope for anything but negative, Falcons defense is fine to punt. I like the Dolphins defense at 3-4. Dolphins have been absolutely balling. Now they're going against a Denver squad that's just hurt right now. Okay, so this is a solid spot here. Locke is hurt. This is just, yeah. Dolphins defense is going to be very solid this week. And if you don't have to punt defense, just then don't. Like, if you don't, spend up for a Dolphins defense. A lot of people might be going Falcons defense. Falcons might end up being super chalk. And then you could get sneaky and go a Dolphins defense and they drop over 20 in this great matchup and then boom, easy W for you this week. All right. Outside of that, I mean, you can always go with the Steelers. They're always in play. The Chargers defense against the Jets is definitely in play. The Dolphins D. Those are my top defenses I like. Vikings D could get some turnovers from Andy Dalton. So we'll see what happens, man. Good luck, guys. GreenlightDFS.com. Join the squad. Hit up GLDBreaks.com if you're interested in getting into this card world. If not, check out the breaks that I've done before and kind of get an idea of how it works, okay? You don't have to be a card collector to be into this, okay? It's also an investment. You put a fraction of the cost of the box in. You get the opportunity of getting cards that are worth over $100. We've gotten a break where the buy-in was $65 for it, right? Because the box was expensive. Somebody got a card that's worth over $300 and immediately just made all that money profit. All he has to do is list it on eBay and boom, move it, and easy. You know what I mean? GreenlightDFS.com. Join the squad. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Let's get this money this week, man. Drop that like down below. Put down below who you think is going to be the highest scoring player on DraftKings this week and their point total for a chance at $100. And I'm out. Peace.